What's going YouTube? Welcome back to another Naruto What If. This is what if I was reincarnated into Naruto as his brother. If you like the video and want a part 2, make sure to leave a like and comment because that will help keep me motivated to post more what ifs, and with that let's get into the video. Chapter 1. A Twist in Fate. It was a Friday afternoon, and I found myself sitting on the bench outside of my apartment complex, lost in thought. The gentle breeze ruffled my hair as I contemplated the state of my favorite anime, Naruto, and its ill-fated sequel, Boruto, Next Generations. Sigh. Boruto is getting worse by the day, I muttered to myself, frustration etched on my face. They're just rehashing the same story from Naruto. As I pondered the decline of my beloved series, I absent-mindedly watched the world go by. People bustled about, each absorbed in their own lives, oblivious to the inner turmoil of a disillusioned anime fan. Her mother, engrossed in conversation on her phone with a friend, had her back turned, unaware of her daughter's reckless dash toward danger. "Hey, watch out," I shouted, my voice cutting through the air like a desperate plea. But the cacophony of the city drowned my words, and the mother remained blissfully ignorant of her child's peril. A looming disaster unfolded before my eyes as a massive truck hurtled down the street, its driver slamming on the brakes in a desperate attempt to avoid catastrophe. The screeching of tires filled the air as the truck's tires skidded, and it became clear that the driver had lost control. Panic surged within me as the little girl stood frozen, her gaze locked onto the oncoming behemoth. The mother, finally sensing the imminent danger, turned to see her daughter's life hanging in the balance. She screamed a primal, gut-wrenching cry that echoed in the hearts of all who heard it. Without thinking, my body sprang into action, propelled by a surge of adrenaline and a primal instinct to protect. Time seemed to slow as I sprinted toward the little girl, the world blurring around me, every muscle in my body strained with the effort, my sole focus on reaching her in time. The truck's horn blared, a mournful wail of impending disaster. My heart pounded in my chest as I neared the girl, my outstretched arms a beacon of hope. In that heart-stopping moment, my world condensed to the little girl and the inexorable force of the oncoming truck. And then, I reached her. With all the strength I could muster, I pushed the girl out of harm's way, her tiny body tumbling into her mother's arms. I barely registered the relief that washed over the mother's face as she clutched her daughter tightly, tears streaming down her cheeks. But I had no time to revel in the rescue. I turned to face the truck, its colossal frame bearing down upon me with merciless intent. There was no escape, no way to evade the inevitable. The world seemed to hold its breath as I braced myself for the impact that would seal my fate. The truck's massive form loomed closer and closer, a juggernaut of steel and fate. I couldn't move, couldn't look away, as it closed the distance between us. In that surreal moment, I accepted my destiny with a mixture of resignation and peace. The collision was inevitable. The world exploded into chaos as the truck's front grille struck me with unimaginable force. I felt my body go airborne, a rag doll in the grip of an uncaring force of nature. Pain, sharp and overwhelming, coursed through every fiber of my being, but I clung to consciousness with a tenacity born of sheer will. And then, darkness. There I was, suspended in a void of nothingness. It was a place of utter calm, where time held no meaning and emotion ceased to exist. I floated, weightless and detached, as though I had transcended the boundaries of existence itself. "So, I guess I'm dead," I mused aloud, my words echoing in the emptiness. "At least I died saving the little girl. Well, I wonder what's next. Maybe it's like some of the religions say." As I contemplated the enigma of my existence, I felt a peculiar sensation, a gentle pressure, as though I was being squeezed from all sides. It was a sensation both comforting and disconcerting, a reminder that I was not alone in this void. The pressure intensified, and I felt myself being drawn toward a singular point as if I were being birthed anew. The sensation was both surreal and undeniable, a transition from one state of being to another. And then, with a rush of warmth and light, I was reborn. The world that greeted me was a stark departure from the darkness of the void. I was wrapped in something warm and soft, cradled in the loving embrace of an unseen presence. The cacophony of life assaulted my senses, a symphony of sounds and sensations that were both overwhelming and strangely comforting. "Welcome to the world, Kaido," a voice whispered, its tone filled with affection and warmth. I blinked, trying to make sense of my surroundings. The voice, so tender and caring, was unfamiliar yet reassuring. It was then that I realized I was no longer the person I once was. I had been reborn into a new existence, a fresh start in a world brimming with possibilities. As I gazed up, I saw the faces of two individuals, a man and a woman, their expressions radiating boundless love and tenderness. The man, with spiky blonde hair and a sense of unwavering determination in his eyes, spoke first. "He's a cute one, isn't he?" he said, his voice filled with pride and joy. "He has the same hair color as you." The woman, with striking vermilion hair and a fierce maternal instinct, echoed his words with a smile that could banish even the darkest of storms. "Of course, he takes after his beautiful mother," she boasted while cradling me with gentle hands. Confusion swirled within me as I tried to comprehend the reality of my rebirth. Who were these people, and why had I been entrusted to their care? The questions bubbled to the surface, eager for answers, but for now, I was content to bask in the warmth of their embrace. In the quiet moments of the night, as I lay in the warm embrace of my new mother, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought me to this point. The memories of my former life were shrouded in the mists of the past like fragments of a story half remembered. But I knew that I had been given a second chance, a new lease on life, and I was determined to make the most of it. Chapter 2: Birth of Kaido. In the middle of August, the summer was in full swing, and it was just another normal day in the village hidden in the leaves. However, a little further away from the village, within the lush forest surrounding it, an extraordinary event was unfolding beneath a powerful barrier seal. Under the protection of this seal lay a woman with vibrant crimson hair, none other than Kushina Uzumaki, the Jinchuriki of the fearsome nine-tailed fox and the beloved wife of the renowned Yellow Flash of the Hidden Leaf, Minato Namikaze. "Ah, it hurts, you know," Kushina screamed, her voice echoing through the chamber as she writhed in agony while trying to bring her child into the world. Minato, standing by her side with his distinctive yellow hair and piercing blue eyes, was filled with concern. He had never seen Kushina in such excruciating pain before, and he couldn't help but worry about her. "I've never seen Kushina in so much pain before, that she cried out like this. Is she really going to be okay?" he pondered, his voice tinged with unease. "Yes, she's going to be fine. Now, just stay focused on the nine-tail seal," reassured Lady Biwako Sarutobi, a woman with brown and black eyes, the wife of the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, and the skilled midwife attending to Kushina's childbirth. "You're one of the strongest shinobi, Minato. Now, act like it and get a grip. Most men would have dropped dead from such pain long ago. We, women, are much stronger in these situations." Minato nodded, his resolve strengthened by Lady Biwako's words. He knew that his role was pivotal at this moment, to reinforce the weakening seal of the Jinchuriki while Kushina gave birth. As if to challenge their determination, the nine-tailed fox sealed within Kushina made its presence known. The seal's weakening during childbirth posed a significant threat, and Minato's presence was essential to prevent the catastrophe of the nine-tails' escape. "He's so strong. The nine-tails is writhing to get out," Minato thought as sweat poured off his face. He turned to Kushina, his voice filled with urgency. "Hang in there, Kushina, just a little while longer." Outside the chamber, vigilant Anbu Black Ops members stood guard, their faces concealed behind masks. Some of them were maintaining the barrier that surrounded the area while others guarded, preventing any unauthorized entry or exit. "I can see the head now. You're almost there, Kushina," Lady Biwako declared as she observed the birthing process. Kushina, battling both the pain of childbirth and the raging nine tails, pushed forward with unwavering determination. "Just hang in there, you're doing great," encouraged Lady Biwako's assistant. All the while, Minato clung to the seal, his willpower alone keeping the tailed beast at bay. And then, in a moment that felt like an eternity, the room was filled with the heartwarming cries of a newborn infant. After countless hours of struggle, Kushina finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Today, I'm a father," Minato said, a radiant smile gracing his face as he moved closer to see his child. But before he could touch the newborn, Lady Biwako scolded him gently, reminding him of the order of things. "Hands off, you. Mother first, and father second." Following her instructions, Minato patiently waited as the midwife cleaned and prepared the baby for his first encounter with the world. With great care, Lady Biwako then brought the tiny bundle of joy over to the exhausted mother. She gingerly placed the newborn in Kushina's loving arms, ensuring that mother and child shared this precious moment. It was a scene filled with tears of joy and profound emotion. With teary eyes, Kushina gazed down at her son, her heart overflowing with love. Welcome to the world, Kaido, she whispered softly, her voice filled with warmth and affection. While Kushina and her son shared this intimate moment, Minato resumed his duty. With unwavering determination, he carefully retightened the seal that bound the 9 tails. I know you just gave birth, but bear with me for a second, okay? He said to Kushina as he strengthened the seal, ensuring the village's safety. After the seal was once again secure, Minato finally had the chance to fully take in the sight of his child. Held securely in Kushina's embrace, their son was a testament to their love, featuring a blend of both their features. His facial structure mirrored his father's, while his vibrant crimson hair was unmistakably inherited from his mother. Minato couldn't help but marvel at the tiny life they had brought into the world. He's a cute one, isn't he? Minato beamed with pride and joy as he admired his newborn son. He has the same hair color as you. Kushina, her heart swelling with happiness, smiled at her husband's words. She cradled their son even closer and replied, of course, he takes after his beautiful mother. The baby, still drowsy from the warmth and comfort of his mother's embrace, gazed up at his parents with a mix of confusion and curiosity. In that quiet moment, as mother, father, and child shared their first precious minutes together, their love and care enveloped their new family with a sense of warmth that would carry them through the challenges and adventures that lay ahead. The journey of parenthood had begun for Minato and Kushina, and they were ready to embrace it with all the love in their hearts. Chapter 3: Realization and Acceptance. As the days turned into weeks, I continued to adapt to my new life as an infant in this world. My new parents doted on me with unwavering love and attention that warmed my heart. It was a love I had never known in my previous life as an orphan, and it filled the void that had always lingered within me. With the passing of each day, I came to the realization that I was reborn into a fictional world, none other than my favorite anime, Naruto. The pieces of the puzzle fell into place when I heard my and my parents' last names. My full name was Kaido Uzumaki. Yes, you heard me right. My last name was Uzumaki, and to top it off, I was born as the son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. This revelation left me perplexed for a while because I thought, wasn't Naruto supposed to be their kid? If so, shouldn't my name be Naruto instead of Kaido? This revelation threw me for a loop, and I grappled with the implications of this newfound identity. They were supposed to die sealing the 9 tails in Naruto on the day of his birth, I mused. As you can imagine, I was confused to no end. However, amidst the confusion, there was a profound sense of gratitude for not ending up as an orphan like Naruto did. The following days were a mix of wonder and confusion. I couldn't help but feel a connection to the characters I had watched and admired on the screen for so long. Minato Namikaze, the soon-to-be fourth Hokage, and Kushina Uzumaki, the red-hot-blooded habanero, were now my parents. As time went by, I tried to piece together as much information as I could about the world and the timeline I was in. Being a few-month-old infant, I was severely limited in my abilities to explore and understand the world around me, so, all I could do was observe my surroundings and eavesdrop on my parents' conversations, hoping for a clue as to what was going on. It was like trying to solve a puzzle with only a few scattered pieces. One day, while my parents sat in the living room in comfortable silence, I overheard Minato telling Kushina that he would be heading to the battlefields after the leave he had taken for the birth of his son. Kushina, looking worried and sad while holding little Kaido in her arms, asked, "Do you really have to go, Minato? Can't you stay with us a little while longer?" Minato's expression carried a mix of determination and sadness as he replied, "I wish I could. I really wish I could just stay home with you and Kaido. But as it stands, the war is intensifying, and Konoha has lost a lot of shinobi. We're being pushed back on all sides. If I don't go, we might lose the war, and I want to do all I can to make sure you and Kaido are safe." With those words, Minato came closer and embraced them both, whispering, "I'll protect you guys no matter what." Sighing, Kushina simply said, "Please return to us safely, as they held each other tightly. From this conversation, I learned that my parents were in the midst of the Third Shinobi War. Well, I could have guessed that from their youthful appearances. For context, both my parents looked like they were in their early 20s, but having confirmation was reassuring. It was a time of uncertainty and danger, and my parents' concern for my safety became even more evident. The next morning, Minato left for the front lines after saying his heartfelt goodbyes to Kushina and Kaido. The day went by just like any other, and Kushina, while sitting on the couch playing with me in her lap. That's when we heard a knock at the door. Kushina took me in her arms and walked to the door to see who it was coming. Who could it be? She wondered aloud. As she opened the door, a woman in her late negative 20s stood there with an infant in her arms, beaming at Kushina. She said, "Good to see you, Kushina." "Oh, that must be Kato-kun you're carrying." Kushina's face lit up with joy as she exclaimed, "Mikoto, good to see you, and oh, my little Itachi-kun has gotten bigger since the last time I saw him. Come in, I'll make some tea, and we can catch up." It was during this reunion that it finally dawned on me. I now knew the time frame in which I was born. I was the same age as Itachi, which made me 5 years older than Naruto and the others. This revelation added another layer of complexity to my existence. There I was placed right in front of Itachi Uchiha, the prodigy of the Uchiha clan. The Itachi that would be forced to massacre the Uchiha clan and shape the destiny of his brother and clan. I turned my head and watched Kushina and Mikoto watching us interact with one another. "I hope both become really good friends," said Kushina, and Mikoto nodded. And so, the rest of the day passed in a blur as I delved into deep thought about the implications of my newfound identity and the challenges that lay ahead. As I lay in my crib that night, I couldn't help but ponder the significance of being born into this world as Kaido Uzumaki, the son of Minato and Kushina. Itachi Uchiha, the young boy who would go on to become one of the most complex and enigmatic characters in the Naruto series, was now my potential childhood friend. The thought of witnessing the events that would shape his life, including the tragedy of the Nine Tails attack and the Uchiha clan massacre, filled me with a mixture of anticipation and dread. My new life was a delicate balance between embracing the love and warmth of my new family and coming to terms with the knowledge that I was living in a world where ninjas, jutsus, and deadly battles were a reality. It was a world where friendships and rivalries could mean the difference between life and death, and where the destiny of nations hung in the balance. Chapter 4: Determination and Resolve. As the weeks gradually turned into months, my determination to safeguard my newfound family and alter the course of events in this world grew stronger with each passing day. My resolve was crystal clear. I needed to ensure the survival of my parents, Minato and Kushina, especially during the perilous night of Naruto's birth. To achieve this monumental task, I had to gather as much information as possible about the world I found myself in and pinpoint the exact moment within the Third Shinobi War when I was born. One key revelation surfaced when Itachi and his mother, Mikoto, paid us a visit a few weeks after my initial realization about my new identity. Itachi, destined to become a legendary figure in the world of shinobi, was roughly my age, placing me in the same era as him. This knowledge provided a crucial clue about the timeline I inhabited and the impending events. Minato's return to the village after a successful mission and a summons from the Hokage marked another significant turning point. As he sat at the dining table, cradling me in his arms, Kushina, busy preparing a meal, inquired about the reason for his summons by the village's leader. "So why did the third call you to his office?" she asked with curiosity. Minato replied, "Oh, the third Hokage wants me to mentor a team of genin who will be graduating soon. It's a responsibility I didn't expect, but I'll do my best." This revelation indicated that Minato was about to embark on a new chapter of his own, assuming the role of a sensei to a group of young ninjas to be. It was a critical development that would play a pivotal role in shaping the future of the Hidden Leaf Village. My thoughts shifted to Kakashi Hatake, a legendary figure in his own right, who was approximately 10 years older than Itachi and me. My recollections from the series informed me that Kakashi had been 15 years old when Minato and Kushina perished, and he had achieved the rank of Jonin at the tender age of 13. It was during this promotion that he received Obito Uchiha Sharingan as a gift, setting in motion a series of events that would define his life. Obito, slightly older than Kakashi by 1 or 2 years, became a genin at the age of 9. Kakashi, on the other hand, had entered the world of shinobi at an astonishingly young age, becoming a genin at a mere 5 years old. He further solidified his status by becoming a chunin at the age of 6. Obito had participated in the chunin exam alongside Kakashi, but fate had dealt him a different hand, leading to his loss against Guy. Determined to catch up, Obito trained diligently and attempted the chunin exam again a year later, achieving success at the age of 11. The realization struck me like a bolt of lightning. If I could somehow change Obito's tragic fate, preventing his death and the subsequent emergence of Toby, I might be able to significantly alter the course of history. However, the complexities of such a task loomed large. How could I, a mere 3-year-old residing in Hirato's body, hope to rescue Obito from his seemingly inevitable demise? Furthermore, revealing my true identity or my knowledge of future events to Minato was a risky proposition. How would he react if he learned that a teenager from the future had taken possession of his son's body? The consequences were unpredictable, and I needed to exercise extreme caution. One option that crossed my mind was to communicate my concerns to Minato without revealing too much. I could express a general sense of foreboding, hoping that it might prompt him to be more vigilant or take extra precautions. However, even that seemed like a long shot. Another strategy involved focusing on my personal growth and development. If I could become stronger, both in terms of physical prowess and ninja skills, I might stand a better chance of intervening in critical moments. For instance, I could potentially thwart Obito's attempt to take Naruto hostage during the Ninetales attack, buying Minato the precious time he needed to deal with Obito and rescue Kushina and Naruto. Yet, this plan came with its own set of challenges. It raised the critical issue of the Ninetales itself. If I prevented the sealing of Kurama into Naruto, it would mean that Naruto wouldn't have access to Kurama's immense power in the future, a power that played a pivotal role in the battles against Madara Uchiha and Kaguya Otsutsuki during the Fourth Shinobi War. I pondered this dilemma for hours on end. If Kurama was unsealed, my mother will die. However, if Kurama is not sealed within Naruto, the world itself could be at risk. It was a frustrating and perplexing conundrum with no apparent solution. Minato could potentially split Kurama's yin and yang chakras, I contemplated aloud, but can he do so without resorting to the Reaper Death Seal? The uncertainty gnawed at me, and no matter how many scenarios I envisioned, I could not seem to arrive at a satisfactory resolution. With a heavy sigh, I concluded, I should focus on my own growth and development for now. There's no point in agonizing over matters I have limited control over. I need to grow up, acquire the necessary skills and knowledge, and then take action when the time is right. As an infant in this world, my abilities were severely restricted, but my determination burned brightly. The path ahead was fraught with uncertainty and challenges, yet I was resolute in my determination to make the most of my unique circumstances. I had a new family to protect, a world to navigate, and a destiny to reshape. The journey had only just begun. Chapter 5: Growing Up. As the weeks turned into months and the months into years, a considerable amount of time had passed. 3 years, to be precise. I had grown rapidly over these years, transforming from an infant into a toddler as I eagerly awaited the beginning of my shinobi training. In the mornings, I would watch with fascination as my father, Minato, prepared for his missions with Team Minato. His sense of duty, his unwavering determination, and his mastery of the shinobi arts were awe-inspiring. I couldn't help but admire him and aspire to be like him. Kushina, my mother, noticed my growing interest in shinobi training and decided to introduce me to some basic principles at home. She taught me about chakra, the life force that fueled a shinobi's abilities, and the different nature transformations. I absorbed this knowledge like a sponge, eager to grasp the fundamentals. On this particular day, I found myself beside my mother, Kushina, as we strolled down a bustling street filled with vendors and merchants. Our mission for the moment: buying groceries. Ka-chan, can we get some reichi, please? I inquired, my eyes sparkling with anticipation. Lychee is reichi, in Japanese, happened to be one of my absolute favorite fruits, so I couldn't resist the urge to request them. We just bought a box full of them yesterday. Did you eat them all? Kushina inquired, giving me a discerning look. Employing my best puppy dog eyes, I responded, but they are so good, pleading with all the innocence a toddler could muster. Sighing, she eventually succumbed to her son's persuasive gaze and bought some reichi for me. Make sure you don't finish them too quickly, or you won't get any for another week, you know, she cautioned. Apart from my reichi addiction, these last 3 years had been quite eventful. Minato, my father, had been assigned to the same team as in the original canon, Kakashi Hatake, Obito Uchiha, and Rin Nahara. They bore an uncanny resemblance to their canon counterparts, and while I had met them once or twice, most of my time was spent with Kushina and Minato when at home. This leads me to another significant development, my friendship with Itachi Uchiha. Due to our mother's frequent meetings and conversations, we often found ourselves having playdates. Itachi was remarkably intelligent for his age, and during our brief encounters, he informed me that his father was about to commence his training in the shinobi arts. Speaking of training, I had already determined the path I wanted to follow as a shinobi. There were different styles and approaches. Some, like Hashirama Senju and Naruto Uzumaki, relied on their physical strength and power to overwhelm opponents. Others, such as healers like Tsunade and Sakura Haruno, used their innate ability to heal and strike back. Then there were the all-rounders like Kakashi Hatake and Hiruzen Sarutobi, who excelled in various aspects of shinobi combat. However, my preference leaned towards the speed-type shinobi, exemplified by Minato Namikaze, all the previous Rei Kamimage, and Shizu Uchiha. These shinobi were swift and lethal, making them highly effective in their roles. Fast forward to the present day. I found myself helping mom prepare an extravagant dinner, fully aware that Tao-chan would be returning home soon from his mission with Team Minato. She was whipping up ebi tempura and chicken katsu, two of our family's favorites. "I'm home," came my father's voice from the door. Upon spotting him, I rushed over and gave him a warm hug, enthusiastically greeting him, "Welcome home, Tao-chan." "Welcome home, dear. You're just in time. Hurry up and freshen up. We'll set the table," Kushina said with a radiant smile. After the meal, we all sat down and chatted about our respective days. When I finally mustered the courage to bring up the topic that had been on my mind for a while, I asked, "Mom, Tao-chan, can I start my shinobi training, please?" Kushina looked puzzled, wondering why I would want to begin my training at such a young age. She voiced her concern, saying, "Why would you want to start your training so soon? You should enjoy your childhood more, you know." But Itachi said he's already started his training in the shinobi way, and I don't want to fall too far behind, you know, I replied, subtly using Kushina's verbal tic. Minato, perceptive as always, probed further, "Is that the only reason you want to start so early?" I decided to be honest and revealed my true motivation. "I want to become strong so that I can protect both of you. I've heard about the war, and I'm scared that we might lose family members. I don't want to lose Ka-chan and Tao-chan," I declared with unwavering determination. While it wasn't an outright lie, my fear wasn't so much about the war itself but rather the traumatic memory of the Ninetales attack. Upon hearing my heartfelt confession, Kushina enveloped me in a warm hug, tears glistening in her eyes. She reassured me, "You won't ever lose Ka-chan or Tao-chan. We're super strong, you know." Minato joined in, hugging us both tightly. After a while, we reluctantly let go of each other. Still nestled in Kushina's comforting arms, I looked up at Minato, who wore a gentle smile. "Well, we should get to bed soon because your training will start early in the morning," he announced. And so, as the night settled in and I drifted off to sleep, thoughts of my future shinobi training and the determination to protect my family filled my dreams. The journey ahead would be challenging. But with the unwavering support of my parents and the knowledge that I was pursuing this path to safeguard my loved ones, I felt ready to embrace the challenges and adventures that awaited me in the world of shinobi. Chapter 6, Meeting Team Minato. The gentle rays of the sun filtered through my window, casting a warm glow that gently roused me from my slumber. The familiar voice of my mother, Kushina, filled the room, a perfect blend of gentleness and determination. "Kato-kan, wake up, or you'll be late for your first day of training." Instantly, my grogginess dissipated, replaced by a surge of energy and anticipation. Today marked the beginning of my journey as a shinobi, a path I had dreamed of countless times. Fully awake, I stepped into the shower, allowing the cascading water to invigorate my senses. The shower served as a ritual of preparation, clearing my mind and fortifying my determination for the momentous day ahead. Afterward, I dressed in the training attire my thoughtful mother had laid out for me on my bed, a simple white t-shirt and black pants. As I glanced at my reflection in the mirror, I couldn't help but contemplate the unique combination of features I had inherited from my parents. My father's facial features and striking blue eyes stared back at me, while my hair, the same vivid shade of red as my mother's, fell in a spiky yet slightly droopy manner. It was a distinctive blend, reminiscent of Shizu's hairstyle but longer and distinctly red. With my appearance satisfying me, I left my room. guided by the enticing aroma of breakfast wafting from the kitchen. Downstairs, I found my parents, Kushina and Minato, already engaged in conversation. Good morning, Ka-chan, Tao-chan, I greeted them with a mixture of enthusiasm and nervousness. Kushina turned toward me, her smile radiant. Good morning, Kato-kan. Are you ready for your first day of training? Her enthusiasm was infectious. I nodded firmly, my voice filled with conviction. Hi, Ka-chan. I'm ready to train and become stronger. Minato, my Tao-chan, affectionately ruffled my hair and added, that's the spirit, kiddo. His azure eyes sparkled with pride and joy. But remember, the training will be challenging. It's essential to stay focused and work hard, but don't push yourself too far. You're still very young. I listened attentively, understanding the importance of maintaining a steady pace and avoiding reckless behavior. After a hearty breakfast, my Tao-chan and I were ready to embark on our day. See you later, Ka-chan, I said as we made our way to the door. Kushina's parting words were filled with motherly concern. Train hard, and don't overexert yourself. Take breaks if you find it too much. You know, I'll bring you guys lunch. Please take care of him, Minakoi, she said while hugging me. Minato reassured her, you don't have to worry, Kushina, I'll keep him safe. With our goodbye said, we left for the third training ground. As we journeyed along the road, my excitement couldn't be contained, and I found myself inundating my Tao-chan with questions. Where are we heading? I inquired as we ventured southeast of the village. We're going to meet my team at the third training ground, Minato replied. So, I'll be training alongside your team, I asked, eager for more details. Minato provided clarity, yes and no. While I'll assign them tasks and monitor their progress, I'll focus more on teaching you the basics. Upon reaching the training grounds, we were greeted by two individuals, with no sign of their third member. Rin exuberantly extended her greetings. Ohio, sensei, and Ohio to you too. Who might you be? Rin was a girl with brown hair and brown eyes, adorned with some markings on her cheeks. She appeared to be around 14. Next to her stood Kakashi, with his signature silver hair and striking black eyes. Despite his young age of 13, he exuded an air of maturity. Minato acknowledged their punctuality with a smile. Ohio, Rin-chan, Kakashi-kan, I'm glad you guys are early. It seems Obito is late again. He then introduced me, saying, let me introduce you guys. This is my son, Kaido Uzumaki. Kaido, these are my students, Kakashi Hatake and Rin Nahara. I returned their greetings warmly. Ohio, Rin-san, Kakashi-san, it's nice to finally meet you. Curiosity got the best of me, and I couldn't help but ask Kakashi, Hatake, are you related to Konoha's White Fang by any chance? In my previous life, knowledge about Tsukumo Hatake, famously known as Konoha's White Fang, was relatively scarce. However, the legends surrounding him were undeniably powerful. He was rumored to possess a strength that eclipsed even the combined might of the legendary Sannin during their prime. Tsukumo Hatake's prowess was considered one of the primary reasons Konoha had survived the brutal turmoil of the Second Shinobi War. Tragically, his life took a sorrowful turn when he fell victim to a series of unfortunate events. It was a heartbreaking shame that his exceptional abilities and unwavering dedication were overshadowed by the alleged incompetence of Hiruzen Sarutobi. This led to Tsukumo being unfairly used as a scapegoat for a critical mission's failure, allowing Danzo Shimura to maliciously spread damaging rumors about him. The weight of these false accusations ultimately pushed him to commit a tragic act of suicide, marking the untimely end of a shinobi legend. Kakashi's expression shifted slightly as he grappled with my question, seemingly caught off guard. Just as he appeared ready to respond, a newcomer burst onto the scene, none other than Obito Uchiha. Sorry I'm late, sensei. I had to help a grandma carry groceries. Obito apologized while catching his breath. Minato was quick to reassure him. It's okay, Obito. You arrived just on time. We were just about to start. Before Minato could delve further into our training agenda, Obito's curiosity got the better of him. Who's the small fry beside you, sensei? Obito inquired, causing my eye to twitch in irritation. However, Minato intervened before I could respond, saying, this is my son, Kaido Uzumaki, and Kaido, this is my last student, Obito Uchiha. Feigning ignorance, I casually asked. So he's related to Itachi. Minato confirmed, yes, Both of them are from the same clan. Obito appeared intrigued by the mention of Itachi, but Minato quickly redirected the conversation. We can talk after the training. For now, let's get started. Obito, still filled with curiosity, sought clarification. Is he gonna watch us train, sensei? He asked. Minato clarified. No, he'll be training with me after I'm done assisting you with your training. At the end, we'll have a sparring session, as always. Now, enough talking, let's get started. With those words, our training commenced, and the day unfolded with promise and adventure. Chapter 7 Training begins. After Minato divided up his students and assigned them tasks, complete with detailed instructions and demonstrations, he strolled over to me with a warm smile on his face. All right, now that I'm done with them, let's get you started, he said, his eyes filled with anticipation. Eager to embark on my journey as a shinobi, I couldn't help but ask, so, what are we going to be doing first? Minato's expression turned serious as he replied, we will be focusing on training your body initially, and if you still have energy left by the end, I'll help you unlock your chakra. My curiosity piqued. I nodded and inquired, so, how are we going to start? Can chakra help with that? Minato leaned in closer, ready to impart his knowledge. We'll begin with 10 rounds around the clearing to build your physical stamina. But before we get into the physical exercises, it's crucial that you understand how chakra works. Chakra is a complex fusion of two primal energies. The first is physical energy, which is harnessed from the body's cells and can be increased through training, stimulants, and exercise. The second is spiritual energy, drawn from the mind's consciousness and enhanced through studying, meditation, and experience. These two energies, when cultivated effectively, make your chakra more potent. Hence, practicing a technique repeatedly builds experience, increasing your spiritual energy, and allowing you to produce more powerful chakra. Similarly, for physical energy, one must enhance their endurance. Some rare individuals possess the potential to exponentially increase their chakra reserves in a relatively short span. I absorbed Minato's explanation and couldn't help but wonder aloud. So, the reason behind the physical exercise is to increase our physical energy. Minato nodded in agreement. Yes, indeed. To augment your physical energy, you must enhance your endurance through exercises and training. Satisfied with the clarification, he asked, is that all? Shall we start with the 10 rounds around the clearing? With a firm nod, I said, let's go. And so, my training commenced. The training ground was quite expansive, roughly spanning a kilometer per round, which meant I had to complete 10 rounds, covering a total distance of approximately 10 kilometers. Determination surged within me as I set off at full speed, the cool breeze brushing against my skin. Surprisingly, it proved to be relatively easy. I finished all 10 rounds without much difficulty and found myself slightly short of breath. It seemed that my Uzumaki lineage from my mother had granted me an inherent advantage. In my previous life, I wouldn't have been able to complete a single round, let alone 10, with energy to spare. Good job, Kayado, you did great, Minato exclaimed, his approval filling me with a sense of accomplishment. Now, let's move on to the rest of your training. My heart raced with anticipation as he outlined the next phase of our training regimen. 50 push-ups, followed by 50 sit-ups, then 50 pull-ups, 50 squats, and finally, 50 lunges. Hearing those words, my initial determination was momentarily replaced by a wave of trepidation. The sheer volume of exercises he had just described seemed daunting. However, I quickly replaced my hesitation with a renewed sense of determination. This was the path I had chosen, and I was ready to face whatever challenges it held. With Minato's guidance and encouragement, I tackled each set of exercises one by one. The push-ups tested my upper body strength. The sit-ups engaged my core. The pull-ups demanded my arm and back muscles. The squats worked my legs, and the lunges challenged my balance and stability. As I pushed through the repetitions, I could feel my body growing stronger with each passing moment. The sweat glistened on my skin, and my muscles protested, but I refused to give in to fatigue. Minato watched closely, offering guidance and corrections to ensure that I maintained proper form and technique throughout. His presence served as a constant reminder of the importance of discipline and dedication in the path of a shinobi. As I completed the last lunge, a wave of exhaustion washed over me. but it was accompanied by a profound sense of accomplishment. I had pushed my limits and emerged stronger for it. Minato's voice broke through my reverie, praising my effort. Impressive, Kayado. You've completed the first phase of your physical training admirably. With a grateful smile, I replied, Thank you, Tao-chan. I couldn't have done it without your guidance. Minato's eyes held a glint of pride as he said, We're just getting started. Now, it's time to move on to the next aspect of your training. As I caught my breath and prepared for what lay ahead, Minato began explaining the importance of balance and agility in a shinobi's skill set. He emphasized that mastering these attributes would be crucial for a wide range of missions, from reconnaissance to combat. He also emphasized the significance of adaptability, explaining that a shinobi must be prepared to face various terrains and situations. With this in mind, Minato introduced a series of exercises designed to enhance my balance and agility. These exercises included walking on narrow wires, traversing uneven terrain, and even practicing acrobatic flips and rolls. As I attempted these exercises, it became clear that balance and agility were skills that required both physical and mental finesse. Each step on a narrow wire demanded precise control of my body while navigating uneven terrain tested my ability to adapt quickly. The acrobatic maneuvers challenged not only my physical capabilities but also my mental focus and spatial awareness. Throughout this phase of training, Minato remained a patient and encouraging instructor. He offered guidance on proper technique and provided constructive feedback to help me improve. It was evident that he was invested in my growth as a shinobi, and I was determined to meet his expectations. Alongside these physical exercises. Chapter 8, The Awakening of Chakra, A Journey of Discovery. The day had been long and grueling. Kaido had pushed his limits under the watchful gaze of his father, Minato, performing a series of physically demanding tasks. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Kaido lay on the ground, gasping for breath. Above him, Minato looked down with a mixture of pride and affection. You did exceptionally well, Kaido, especially for your first day, Minato complimented, his voice filled with warmth. Kaido managed a tired but content smile. Of course, Tao-chan, I'm determined to surpass you one day. The praise from his father was a reward in itself, but Kaido's ultimate goal was to stand as an equal to the legendary Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage. Minato chuckled softly in response, a twinkle in his eye. You'll have to train very hard to achieve that, but I look forward to the day it happens. Extending a hand to his son, he offered to help him up. With a grateful nod, Kaido accepted the assistance, his legs feeling like jelly. Together, they made their way to a nearby tree, seeking its shade and the comfort it offered. Under the tree's cool embrace, Minato proposed, You should rest a bit, Kaido. Afterward, I'll help you unlock your chakra. As Kaido lay under the tree, his strength slowly returned. He watched the play of leaves in the breeze, his thoughts focused on the exciting prospect of unlocking his chakra. When Minato returned, Kaido was ready to learn. He looked up at his father with curiosity and asked, So, how do I unlock my chakra, Tao-chan? Minato's laughter filled the air. You're still so full of energy, huh? Maybe we should consider increasing the difficulty of your training, he teased, causing a momentary panic to flash across Kaido's face. However, Minato quickly reassured him, Relax, I was just joking. With renewed confidence, Kaido followed his father's guidance. Closing his eyes, he took deep, calming breaths, allowing Minato's soothing voice to guide him. To unlock our chakra, Minato explained, we must close our eyes, calm our minds, take deep breaths and look within ourselves. Feel the warmth at your core and gently coax it to the surface. Kaido followed the instructions diligently. His mind and body grew still as he reached inward, searching for that elusive warmth. Slowly but surely, he felt it, a surge of power that resonated from deep within him. His chakra flowed through his being like a river, and for the first time, he felt truly connected to this hidden wellspring of energy. Excitement and wonder washed over Kaido as he realized the immense potential within him. He could almost feel the world bending to his will, responding to his newfound power. Minato's soft voice interrupted his reverie. Now, gently release it. Obeying his father's guidance, Kaido gradually let go of the chakra he had summoned. When he opened his eyes, he met Minato's proud gaze. Well done, Kaido. You've unlocked your chakra, Minato congratulated him. Minato's smile widened as he continued to mentor his son, explaining that unlocking chakra was just the beginning. The true mastery lay in controlling its flow and manipulating it, a journey that would transform Kaido into a formidable shinobi. To aid Kaido in his training, Minato handed him a simple leaf. This is called the leaf sticking exercise, taught at the academy, Minato instructed. It may seem simple, but it's an effective way to practice chakra control. Your task is to stick the leaf to your forehead using chakra. This will help you regulate your chakra flow and the amount of chakra you use. Apply too much, and it will burn. Too little, and it will fall off. I want you to master this exercise. Kaido accepted the challenge with determination. As he attempted to make the leaf adhere to his forehead, he quickly realized that the task was more challenging than it appeared. Focusing his chakra to hold the delicate leaf in place required finesse and precision. Minato watched Kaido's struggles and provided guidance, saying, "It's because you're an Uzumaki, Kaido. Members of the Uzumaki clan tend to have an abundance of chakra, making it more challenging to control." As Kaido continued to practice, Minato called his team for a sparring session. While he trained, Kaido occasionally lost concentration, stealing glances at the intense spar unfolding before him. Minato displayed remarkable skill, sparing no mercy as he decisively defeated his students. As they finished, Kaido's attention was diverted once more. A gentle voice called out to him, and Kaido turned to see his mother, Kushina, approaching with a warm smile. She sat beside him and embraced him warmly, asking, "So, Kaido-kun, how was your first day of training?" Kaido leaned into his mother's embrace, comforted by her presence. "It was great, Ka-chan. Tao-chan taught me a lot of things," he replied enthusiastically, sharing the highlights of his day. Minato, seeing Kushina wrapped up his team's training session, beckoned them to join, as they enjoyed a nice lunch that Kushina had prepared for them. What ifs, and with that, let's get into the video. Chapter 9. Training Progress. It has been a few months since my parents commenced my shinobi training, and I've made substantial progress since then. My training regimen has been intensified to match my swiftly developing skills and abilities. I've successfully mastered the leaf sticking exercise, though I must admit it took me longer than expected, approximately a month. Additionally, I've delved into the tree walking exercise, and I take pride in the fact that I achieved mastery in a relatively short span, around just a week. Beyond these chakra control exercises, a few weeks into my training, my parents initiated my taijutsu instruction, involving a series of katas. The unique taijutsu style made by Minato, which my parents have been teaching me, uses the academy's taijutsu style as a base and adapts it to suit his fighting style. This style emphasizes speed and precision, focusing on pressure points, in contrast to the Hyuga clan's gentle fist, which targets chakra points, or Might Guy's taijutsu style, which leans on both power and speed. While some may argue that Minato's taijutsu skills aren't exceptional, I beg to differ. Minato's proficiency in taijutsu is genuinely impressive. Despite the perception that he might be physically frail, his exceptional chakra reserves and control effectively counteract any such notion, greatly augmenting a shinobi's strength and resilience. In terms of speed, Minato's reflexes and reactions surpass even those of the renowned Eight Gates guy. His timing and execution consistently demonstrate precision, even when confronting formidable opponents like A, whose physical abilities eclipse even those of Seven Gates guy in terms of speed and defense. Even without relying on Hiration, Minato could effectively evade attacks due to his exceptional reflexes and reactions. However, the use of Hiration provides him with an offensive option and enhances his flexibility, particularly when it's challenging to outmaneuver A solely through speed. With Hiration, he can swiftly execute surprise attacks from behind, emphasizing the critical role of reflexes and reactions in taijutsu battles. It's not unreasonable to assume that Guy would find it exceedingly difficult to land a hit on Minato in a direct confrontation, even without Minato employing Hiration. Minato's reflexes are so acute that he can effortlessly evade any incoming attacks, a feat even more impressive when considering his ability to outpace Obito's movements during their encounter. While it's a known fact that Guy cannot withstand a Rasengan due to the lack of modifications or healing abilities like Obito and Kabuto, a face-off between Minato without Hiration and Seven Gates Guy would likely result in Minato's victory. Furthermore, we haven't even factored in Minato's Sage Mode for this scenario. When pitted against 8 Gates Guy, it becomes a challenging battle, but one that's likely to conclude swiftly. The key question revolves around whether Guy unleashes all 8 gates from the outset, granting him a staggering 100-fold increase in power over his base mode. While Minato with Hiration can effectively evade any attacks Guy hurls at him, he can also maintain a safe distance or redirect Guy's assault, akin to guiding thunder, especially if Guy were to employ the Night Guy technique. Minato could secure victory without necessarily adopting an offensive stance or tapping into Sage mode. In all honesty, given Minato's space-time abilities and status as the fastest shinobi of his era prior to the emergence of the Six Paths users, he seems nearly invincible in a taijutsu showdown. Sage mode further bolsters his physical prowess to the point where Guy's capabilities, even with 7 gates, appear akin to those of a genin in pure taijutsu. Ignoring my rant on taijutsu, my training in this discipline is advancing well. According to my Tao-chan, my taijutsu proficiency might surpass that of most academy students. My Ka-chan, who serves as the primary funjutsu expert in our household, has mentioned that she will commence my funjutsu training shortly. I'm particularly excited about this prospect, as she was the one who instructed my Tao-chan in Minato Namakesa's funjutsu techniques. Beyond the developments in my training, several noteworthy events have occurred. For instance, Kakashi was recently promoted to the rank of Jonin. While I cannot confirm whether he is the youngest ever to achieve this distinction, he did attain Jonin status at the age of 13, a milestone that puts him 2 years ahead of my father's pace. This reminds me of the period leading up to the Kanobi Bridge mission. The intensity of the battle is reminiscent of scenes from the anime, with the only difference being that Minato is abstaining from utilizing his Hiration technique, which would indeed be an overwhelming advantage. Chapter 10, Bell Test. A tremendous fireball exploded in the middle of the training field, and a billowing cloud of smoke rose into the air. Minato swiftly leaped back, his feet skidding on the ground as the smoke began to clear. The bell on his waist jingled as he was assailed by yet another fireball, this time coming directly from the front. With remarkable agility, Minato vaulted onto a nearby tree, effortlessly avoiding the smaller fireballs that emanated from the large one. He gracefully shifted his body, dancing around the threats with ease, before swiftly hurling a barrage of shuriken towards the source of the fireball. The shuriken peppered the area where Obito stood, missing him by a mere millimeter and causing him to plummet from the tree he had been perched on. As Obito landed on his backside and looked up, he saw Minato standing atop another tree. Minato declared with confidence, "You're done, Obito." "Darn it," Obito muttered in frustration as he sat on the ground a short distance away. Rin, seizing the opportunity, sprung a trap that sent a massive tree trunk hurtling towards Minato. In a desperate move to conceal his presence, Obito threw a smoke bomb. However, Minato effortlessly evaded the incoming attack and silently commended Rin's strategy, thinking to himself, "Nice strategy." Rin, alert and supportive, pointed out, "Obito, they're at 2 o'clock. "Right," Obito replied, swiftly running through a series of hand signs before releasing another colossal fireball towards the direction Rin had indicated, exclaiming, "Fire style, fireball jutsu." Minato effortlessly dodged it and reappeared behind them. Minato commented, "Almost had me there. But, sensei, how did you?" Rin began, her initial shock giving way to resignation as both she and Obito sighed in defeat. "We blew it again," Obito grumbled. Minato thought to himself, "You've grown strong, both of you, and I'm impressed with your teamwork." He now contemplated the next step. Suddenly, a shuriken came hurtling towards him. Minato skillfully deflected it, thinking, "What timing?" Just as he had that thought, Kakashi emerged from the side and attempted to slash at Minato, who effortlessly evaded the attack. "Kakashi," both of Minato's students exclaimed, surprised to see him openly attacking their sensei. As Kakashi continued his relentless assault, Minato adeptly evaded and deflected all of his attacks. "Sensei, today's the day I win," Kakashi declared confidently as he pressed on with increased ferocity. Minato, with a serious expression, asked, "You've been biding your time. Was that your strategy?" "No, it would be too hard to fight you while watching over those two," Kakashi replied, revealing his true intentions. Realizing Kakashi's plan, Minato acknowledged, "That's why you were waiting for me to defeat them." Kakashi then sprung a trap, causing the ground to explode with paper bombs. It seemed as though the explosion had consumed Minato, but he reappeared on a tree branch with hardly a scratch. As soon as he reached the branch, he was faced with a volley of shuriken, which he deflected with grace. At that moment, Kakashi materialized behind him, attempting to kick him, but Minato swiftly blocked the attack. Kakashi continued to engage Minato in a bout of taijutsu, but Minato effortlessly evaded all of Kakashi's moves. During this exchange, Kakashi was briefly able to touch the bells. Not bad, Kakashi, but not enough to beat me, Minato said with a smirk after pushing Kakashi away. I'm not through yet, sensei, Kakashi retorted, disappearing in a puff of smoke, revealing himself to be a shadow clone. A shadow clone, Minato remarked with a smile, standing confidently. This isn't complete, but, Kakashi said as he formed hand signs, channeling chakra into his hand, generating lightning. Now, I'll finish this, Kakashi declared. I told you, didn't I? You can't beat me, a voice came from behind Kakashi, who turned only to find Minato standing behind him, a kunai poised at his neck. You lose, Kakashi. Wow, what incredible speed, Kakashi muttered, looking back at the spot where Minato had previously stood. I'd already consider you joining class, but you're not ready, Minato stated as he stood there. I was so close, Kakashi growled in frustration. Soon, Rin and Obito joined them, and as Minato concluded the bell test. As the bell test was concluded, me and Kushina made our way over to the team with the lunch she had prepared for us. Good that you actually hit me, Minato said, his gaze fixed on his sleeve, where a small cut had appeared. Oh, hitting sensei, that's amazing, Kakashi, Rin exclaimed, her eyes locked on Kakashi. Kakashi, however, seemed somewhat disappointed with his performance as he replied, it was only one hit, it isn't all that praiseworthy. Obito, feeling a bit left out as Kakashi received all the attention, whined to Rin, I could do it too, you know. Kushina playfully placed the food basket on his head and asked with a grin, nice timing, right? Rin, delighted to see Kushina, exclaimed, Kushina, yeah. Wow, Tao-chan, you're so cool, I chimed in as Kushina chatted with the others. Hearing my words, Minato smiled and replied, well, I did train a lot to be this strong, and if you continue to train as you are, you will surpass me in no time. Kushina, with her warm and encouraging spirit, asked them all, are you all doing your best? To which Minato responded, they're doing great. We were just about to take a break. That's good to hear. Here's lunch, Kushina offered, presenting the meal she had prepared. Here's your order, it's Kushina's special. All right, I love the food you made, Kushina. Thanks. Rin expressed her gratitude, and Kushina couldn't help but coo. You're so cute, Rin. You're such a good girl, you know. Obito, on the other hand, turned his nose up in an attempt to distance himself. Seeing his reaction, Kushina couldn't resist teasing him. Let me get this straight. I take the time to bring lunch all the way out here to you guys, and that's the kind of thanks I get from you. Obito tried to maintain his indifference, retorting, hey, I didn't ask you to do that. I'm not even hungry. However, his stomach had different plans and growled loudly, embarrassing him. As we settled down to enjoy Kushina's specially prepared lunch, the atmosphere became more relaxed. The food was a testament to her culinary skills, and I couldn't help but savor each bite. It was moments like these that made me appreciate the bonds we shared as a team and as friends. Rin, always the cheerful one, broke the silence as she commented, you know, Minato-sensei, it's moments like these that make all the hard work worth it. Minato nodded in agreement, a contented smile on his face. You're absolutely right, Rin. Training is essential, but so is taking the time to enjoy the company of friends. Obito, who had initially been sulking, seemed to brighten up a bit. Yeah, you guys are lucky to have each other. I guess I'm lucky too, he mumbled, his usual cocky demeanor softened by a hint of vulnerability. Kushina, ever perceptive, reached over and tousled Obito's hair playfully. Of course, you're lucky, Obito. We're all here for each other, no matter what. As I observed this interaction, I couldn't help but reflect on my own thoughts. I had never gotten too close to Obito, knowing what he would ultimately become. But witnessing him now, I struggled to reconcile the idea that this Obito would one day become the masked man. He seemed so weak, so far removed from the power that the masked man had displayed. Hashirama's cells and his main Gekyo Sharingan were incredibly overpowered. And without those boosts, it was hard to imagine Obito achieving even a fraction of what the masked man had accomplished. Was Rin's death the sole catalyst for Obito's transformation, or had Madara played a more significant role in his descent into darkness?